Ooh, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our webinar this afternoon. My name is Liz Vitrelli. I am your annuity marketer here at Underwriters Marketing Service. Before we get started, I want to remind everyone that this webinar is being recorded. If you do not wish to be recorded, please disconnect at this time. This is also a webinar for financial professionals. If you're not one of those, please disconnect at this time. Here at Underwriters Marketing Service, we are your back office support for life, long-term care, fixed and FIA business. We have been in business for over 35 years and are constantly striving to provide you, our agents and reps, with education, support for your business, and marketing tools to help you to continue to grow and to develop. Our speaker today is Dustin Carlson with Equitrust. Dustin is the National Account Manager and is responsible for supporting marketing organizations such as ourselves. He has 15 years of experience with the IMO and carrier level. He'll be talking to us today about sales strategies that unlock annuity discussions. Dustin, take over.
Well, thank you, Liz. I appreciate the great introduction there, and want to say thank you to UMS for having me on today. It's a pleasure working with you all, and then a special thanks to the advisors on the phone for taking time away from your practice to be here, and I don't take it lightly that you're here listening to me and not out there selling. So I'm going to aim to provide you the most value I can in a little amount of time as possible. So brief agenda. First of all, we should have this wrapped up in about 20 minutes or so. I won't discuss any products in detail, but only sales concepts and ideas to help you unlock more annuity sales for today's discussion. So let's get right into it. Let's start off with the basics. So the idea behind this webinar is to get you to unlock those annuity conversations. And so I like to start off at the basics, and there's a lot of misinformation about annuities. You have the Ken Fishers of the world just spreading vitriol about what we all do to a certain degree, and portraying them as negative instead of positive. And I heard the statistic on the radio the other day that said the human brain has over 50,000 thoughts a day. 80% of those are negative. So I don't want you to give your clients an excuse to be negative about annuities. One of those is to dispel those myths of annuities. And so this is how I position an annuity without even saying the word annuity. And what I've heard from advisors in the field sitting down across the desk from clients is that they have them draw this diagram out, simply draw a box with their retirement savings dollar number in there. Let's say it's $500,000. And then tell them to draw 3 arrows, one going up, one staying level, and one going down. What you do here is have them eliminate one of those arrows as to which way their money could go. And 10 times out of 10, they're going to put a giant red X or whatever color you give them over that downward arrow. And that's exactly what an annuity is. You only participate in the gains and none of the losses. So as people approach retirement, it's more important than ever to not lose during those final years of working and saving. Otherwise, if you do lose, you can't make up the loss in time to retire on time. And this next slide sort of leads into that discussion that you can also have with a client to unlock some of those annuity conversations. So this is probably the most classic chart that I've seen in the annuity world in my 15 years in the business. You can get this chart through UMS, and it is branded to Equitrust. So reach out to them for this chart. But really what it does is it illustrates $100,000 being deposited in the year 2000. There's annual point-to-point S&P with a 5% cap in blue. In red, you have your S&P 500 at 100% participation in the market. So the unabated S&P there, and the green line is what you would get in a minimum guarantee in an annuity contract back in 2000. So imagine your client having their precious retirement savings positioned in the market with a target retirement date of just pick a few dates on this graph: 2002, 2010, 2015 even. You know, after losing 40% in 2001 or 37% in 2007, 2008, 2009, there's no way that client could retire on time if their goal was 2002 or 2010. They just don't have enough time to make that up. Now, the question that I would ask you and maybe your clients is, did you think years like these 2001s, 2002s, and 2008 are possible again? And the follow-up question is, what if the clients were in a fixed index annuity instead of the market during this time? I feel like, you know, they didn't lose any money in 2001 or 2009, and they were not struggling to just get back to their $100,000 deposit that they had. Anytime the S&P went up for the year, so did their account. And do you think that your prospects would, you know, like to hear how they can potentially retire on time and never outlive their money versus continuing to leave their retirement assets at risk? I think if you presented this in front of someone, showed them that market volatility you get out of the S&P, you know, they may feel better about going to sleep at night with some of their assets in a fixed index annuity. Now, I want to show you market losses and what the client will need to break even. I love this chart. I helped create this chart, kind of self-plugging myself there, but it's so valuable in client presentations because you're not even talking about gains. You're talking about losses in the market and what it would take just to break even the following year or in subsequent years. So let's go back to that client that may have wanted to retire in 2010. So with the 2010 target retirement date, the client's money's allocated to the market in 2008, 2009, typically suffered a loss of around 37%. Now, if you don't see a 37% number along that left-hand side, so we can use 35, it'll take at least 53.5% worth of gains just to break even again for this client. This fact is something that clients don't think about. You know, they think, hey, all I need to do is get a 37% gain again, and I'll be back to where I was before. But what they don't understand is sequence of return risk. So make sure that you talk to customers about this sort of thing. And this is another way of explaining what an annuity is, sliding into that conversation relatively smoothly without even mentioning the word annuity in case they have any preconceived negative notions about them. Here's a piece that is extremely busy, and I don't expect you to digest all of this, but what I wanted to do is try to get the point across to you that, you know, for those clients that, you know, worried that they are, you know, tying their money up or getting out of the market when it's so hot, annuities can be a tough conversation. They see the market going up, you know, why should I take money out of the market and earn potentially less interest, plus maybe add in a surrender charge period there. What I would do is first refer back to those two slides, talk about sequence of return risk, locking in those gains. And let's face it, you know, FIAs are part of a full financial plan. So the client should realize it's fine to have money in the market, you know, using the rule of 100 or whatever that advisors are using out there. And the market provides limitless diversification. That's not what, you know, I'm here to debate, but what I am here to say is our products, these fixed index annuities, do offer diversification with returns similar to what they could get in the market, but also that downside protection. So this table shows the indexes that we offer, corresponding years, and the S&P 500 performance. The example that I would point out to you here is all the way over on the right, 2019, the S&P 500 at 100% participation gained nearly 29%. The best par rates in the industry were right around 50%, so the client would net around 14. And our Mark 5 index, you see there in that olive color, with its participation rate had 13%. But the benefit to your client, excuse me, they're not in the market trying to stomach a volatile S&P 500. Sequence of return risk is on the table at that point as well. So our Mark 5, along with our Barclays story, is a volatility control. So they don't have to keep track of this thing every moment of the day on their CNBC app. They can kind of set it and forget it, which is what you want with this safe money. Liz, are there any questions up to this point yet?
No, but that's a good reminder, Dustin. If anybody does have questions, there's a little hand there. Just use that and type in your questions, and we will answer them at the end. So I do not see anything at this time. You know, but the renewals, I do see that one. The renewals, you just showed the graphs with the performance. Is there a way for renewals? Is there a graph? Any way for them to check renewal rates?
Yeah, great question there. Thank you for that. So, you know, many carriers in the industry don't publish their renewal rates. We are one of the few that do. I find it pretty refreshing, actually. You know, we don't hide behind anything. All of our renewal rates are good. And I do have a screenshot of one of our products, renewal rates here coming up in a few slides from now. But what you can do as an advisor with us is you can go on our website and pull up any renewal rate on any policy year and date that we've issued a policy on. So if you wanted to say today's December 3rd, if you wanted to go back to December 3rd, 2006 and look to see what a 10-year time frame was from 2006 to 2016, you can do that, and you can download an Excel spreadsheet as well. So if you really get one of those engineering clients, or if you're, you know, a really detailed advisor, you can do that for yourself. And I think what you'll find is our renewal rates have a lot of integrity. You know, we're not making decisions to buy a bunch of business and then cut the rate. You know, I'm not saying we're immune to tranches of business where we just couldn't help but lower them down, but overall, the vast majority of policies renew very well. And again, I'll show you that slide here in just a moment, but thanks for that question, Liz. I appreciate it. One other concept, I do have a couple more, but I really like this one because it's a 3-in-1 concept using our most popular product, the Market Value Index. Simple, easy product to discuss with clients and understand as an advisor. But the 3 things that you can get done in this one product are you can supplement income with an accumulation play. You don't necessarily have to buy an income rider, which we're seeing more and more of these days. We can satisfy an RMD, and we can also help to leave a legacy. And I mean, the number one concern for clients in retirement is outliving their money. So I think supplementing income with an accumulation play with no fee is an extremely valuable conversation to have with customers. So getting into the nuts and bolts of this, we have a male that's 65, qualified money, of course, dumping in $100,000 into our market value. This is a non-guaranteed illustration. Okay, so hypothetical with some of our Barclays and some of our Mark 5 built into the illustrated rate. Now, the first gold or green bar there on the left, at age 73, that's when they need to start taking his RMD. $100,000 is $153K in 7 years. Okay, so this client starts taking withdrawals, and fast forward to age 85 or year 20 of the contract. That client's taken what, roughly nearly, this is an estimate, around $130,000 out of their account withdrawals and via RMDs. And that's on a $100,000 deposit. So 130K they've taken on a $100,000 deposit. But what I like is if you look to the accumulation value column at age 85, you know, you see $200,000 in there. So The whole time they're taking these RMDs, really for the life of the contract, after year one, they can take up to 10% penalty-free withdrawal per year. So that's how they're going to be able to supplement their income above and beyond anything that they're taking for the RMDs. They can take out up to 10% penalty-free withdrawal money to supplement that income after Social Security and pensions and maybe any other annuities that they have, or their withdrawal rate on their market-based accounts. And again, more and more advisors are using accumulation for income. So reach out to the UMS team and see how their successful advisors are doing this. Now, switching gears, I'm assuming most people on the phone are selling life insurance. So I think this should be a pretty well-received, easy to understand concept. And believe me, by the time I'm done, it will lead to an annuity conversation. But so let's say you have a client, and we'll use Carolyn as an example, that's interested in life insurance and dumping a one-time lump sum deposit in. She has $100,000 to allocate. She has $100,000 in a CD earning 2%, which I think is actually pretty good rate nowadays. I don't know if that's quite accurate. It could be lower, but she could leave it in the bank CD. That'll give her safety. She could move it to, let's say, an annuity. She should have safety and more growth opportunity than the CD, obviously. Or she could put it into our Wealth Max Bonus Life product. Now, she does have an objective of leaving money to her grandchildren when she dies. She does have concerns of health-related expenses, as you can see on this slide, and we put her options down there. So this chart is extremely popular on the single premium life side. We have two products on that side of the business. So this chart really hits home with customers, okay? It shows the shortfalls of a bank CD and how the annuity is trying to keep up with the SPL when it comes to death benefit, but obviously it's a life contract, so it struggles to do so. So at that 2%, it would take that bank CD 33.5 years to grow to 195,000, and she'd be 93 at that point, 7 years past her life expectancy. So we're putting Carolyn in a much better position for passing this money on when we put her in an SPL product. It does come with terminal illness, nursing home, and chronic even. So that's a nice benefit of that product. And all this SPL single premium life talk sounds pretty good, right? But this has all happened to you before, I'm sure. If you're selling life insurance, the client fails to pass underwriting. Here's how the sales meeting may go for you. You and the client call into our underwriting department to complete our knockout questions. If the client is declined because of those knockout questions, you just lost the sale potentially, right? Well, here's the point of these life slides. Don't lose the sale because of the underwriting result. You can pivot to an annuity right there and then at the dinner table, your office, Starbucks, wherever you're meeting your client. That $100,000 allocated for SPL turned into an annuity doesn't get tax-free death benefit necessarily, but that 100,000 gets downside protection, upside interest, which gives a client a potential for return and passing that along for legacy purposes. But it also has certain abilities for terminal illness, nursing home waivers, and we do have an income doubler. So if you're in an income product, we will double that income for 5 years no matter what. Even if there's no cash value in the contract, we will double it for 5 years. And that's based on 206 activities of daily living. So we do have some nice benefit built in there for clients who are worried about passing along a legacy and also those health concerns in retirement. So bottom line here, don't lose a sale due to that underwriting, as we all may have done, but pivot to an annuity. Now, I sometimes struggle with mentioning social media because some people get overwhelmed with it, and that's not what I'm here to do for you all today. I just want to give you a simple tip that I know has worked for other advisors. And you're probably already doing some of this social media work, but the question I put on the slide is, what do you want your clients and prospects to know about you? How many times do you think your prospects Google you before actually making an appointment? If we're in a room, I'd ask for somebody's participation, but if I were to venture to guess, it's probably 9 times out of 10 they Google you before they probably even talk to you, come to your seminar, or anything else like that. So what does your online presence look like? Obviously you need a modern looking website at minimum, but you also need a social media presence. And I'm not an expert in social media and can't help you tackle that giant gorilla, but what I can tell you is that my most trusted advisors are constantly improving their skills. They're students of the game, taking classes, listening to informative webinars, listening to motivational speakers, anything and everything they can get their hands on. And the question I pose to you is why is improving your skills important? I think, first of all, you make more informed and innovative recommendations for your clients. You don't know what you don't know would be a common line I would use there. And don't you think that your clients would like to know that you're competent enough to be a continual learner, that you know what you're talking about and you're constantly seeking the best solutions for them? So what it all means for me and what I'm trying to get across is start posting on social media anytime you complete an online course, listen to a webinar like this or anything else that UMS puts out. Anything that you come across in a relevant financial news article, something on Wall Street Journal that may have helped you understand something, and I'm sure that your clients and prospects would probably like to know what you're reading as well. So what that ultimately boils down to is if you're posting stuff like that, first of all, it makes you look more competent. And also it may get you some referrals. You might be connected with your clients on social media and they may hit that like button or favorite button on whatever you post, and it becomes a referral for one of their friends that sees that post or that like that pops up on their feed. So it just kind of sort of feeds on itself. So don't be afraid to show people that you are staying on top of your game, that you are continuing to learn, because I think people are watching that more than you know. Here's another busy slide, but what I wanted to show you here is some of the capabilities that we have for marketing material that'll help you with these conversations. UMS has access to all of these pieces, and what I wanted to show you is, I'll go kind of block by block here, that index diversification slide that we touched on earlier. It's great to show options to a client looking at purchasing an annuity, but maybe reluctant because the index options they have in the stock market or mutual funds just look too good. Renewal rate history, we touched on that. That's in the upper right-hand quadrant. We have marketing pieces on our renewal rate history on these products. The 4 fixed index annuities that we have been in our portfolio since, I think the youngest one is 2008. So we've had these products for quite some time, which will give you accurate renewal rate history. The bottom 2, we call them flip books. They're spiral bound presentations that we can mail to you. So UMS can order those for you and have them shipped to your address. And they're really, really nice. They're about 15 pages long, professional looking spiral bound flip books that help you have that conversation with clients. And I just put a sample of the fixed annuity on the left, the fixed index annuity on the right. And that's their table of contents essentially. And really the questions that you tackle throughout that presentation. We have more and more things like that on our website, so I'd encourage you to jump out onto our website. But it's all about unlocking those conversations. I don't claim to be an expert. I presented some good material out here to get your minds going. You know your clients and your prospects the best, and UMS also knows what they're talking about too when it comes to this sort of deal. They're talking to hundreds of advisors about their business and learning from them, and I'm sure they'd be more than happy to pass along any of that solid information for you. So take action. Don't sit on the sidelines, as I put it on this slide. Reach out to UMS, call to get illustrations from them. You can get the market value illustration, that 3-in-1 strategy that I pitched to you, and just get an illustration for a client that may be coming into the office next week, or you're meeting virtually, whatever it may be. But just see what this product can do for you, as well as any marketing material, and hear how their advisors are overcoming common roadblocks and objections when approaching the annuity conversation. So thank you. Thank you everyone on the line that has given us business, and for that business we have yet to earn. I look forward to doing that. And Liz, I appreciate you having me on again, and thank you so much, everyone. I'll turn it back to you.
Oh, thank you, Dustin. I'm sure most people don't even realize the transparency of Equitrust, and that is very much appreciated in this day and age. Everybody needs to know how renewals are going. It is extremely important. Also, we've asked questions along the way that you actually answered while you were speaking. So you covered the questions. The 2 ADLs, huge. The doubler, huge. If you can't get long-term care, those are things that are huge in this business. And remember that, guys, when you're out there quoting and you can't get long-term care, they don't qualify, come back to the annuity department, and Equitrust is definitely one of the ones you want to be looking at. They have high participation rates right now, one of the best out there. I appreciate your time today. We know it's valuable, and we love that you spend it with us. Justin, thank you so much for your time today as well. Everybody have a great afternoon.